Hello, welcome to Contest. I'm Anastasia Lavrina, and tonight we delve into a key moment in international diplomacy as Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan embarks on a significant visit to Paris. This isn't just any diplomatic trip. Fidan's agenda includes high-level talks with French officials, covering everything from trade to European security and even more critical issues that could shift the region's geopolitical landscape. But there is something else at play, an intriguing energy story brewing beneath the surface. Now, we know that France has never been particularly enthusiastic about gas. Its energy strategy leans more toward renewables and nuclear power. But what if, in a world where energy diversification is key, Turkey becomes a bridge for something else? Uranium. Yes, uranium from Central Asia could soon find its way through Turkey thanks to Ankara's growing strategic role. And here is the twist. In order to get that uranium to Europe, there is only one way it can travel, through Azerbaijan. Turkey, with its strategic location as a crossroads between East and West, will be the key route. What does this mean for Turkey's role in global energy and its growing influence in Europe? Fidan's discussions will not just be about boosting trade or strengthening defense ties, but about navigating this crucial energy corridor, which could redefine relationship between Turkey, Azerbaijan, and France. Now we will explore the stakes of this visit and what it means for Europe's evolving energy landscape. All that and more coming up next. Joining me now from Turkey is Onur Evrim, President, Dragoman Strategies. Warm welcome to our program.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So, Onur, thank you for joining us tonight. And let me start with a question. Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan's visit to Paris is sparking significant interest. What do you think are the key drivers behind this diplomatic mission, and what's at stake for Turkey in these discussions with France?
Well, you must realize Turkey is in the crossroads of A, number of regions, and B, for a number of products. So if any kind of commodity, any kind of service, any kind of natural resource is to move from east to west, especially to continental Europe, Turkey is in a pivotal and the most economical crossroad in this regard. But this is a two-way street. We have to make sure that where it's coming from, all those countries to the east of Turkey, and where it's going to all those countries west of Turkey, there must be a solution where there is a common understanding and a mutual benefit for all sides. Turkey has unfortunately been, getting mostly short end of the stick for most of the time, or has actually had to, in times, had to give up its rights or what it actually deserved, had to short sell it for a number of reasons, mainly for economical reasons. So with I think the gain of Turkey's strength financially, also with to a point where we have a more developed and a more concrete relationship with all of the Turkish brothering countries in Central Asia, I think we're going to see more and more issues influenced by Turkey, by all the Turkic states in Central Asia, which should have matters move more and more close to the true benefits of the region, not just Turkey, but for the entire region. And I think this is a very good step in ensuring those things that are going to happen, that we all are looking forward to, in the favor of everybody. So not just a lopsided favoritism towards Western and/or continental Europe, but also to those countries where these resources come from and where these resources actually go through.
Right, so you rightly mentioned one of the more intriguing aspects of this visit is the potential for Turkey to play a pivotal role in energy supply to Europe. As I already mentioned in the beginning, through the transit of uranium from Central Asia, for example. Given that Azerbaijan is the only viable route, how do you see Turkey positioning itself as a key energy transit hub in this context? And considering the existing difficulties and relations between Azerbaijan and France, what challenges might arise in development of this potential energy corridor?
I am quite sure that there will be many challenges along the way. But I'm also sure that, first, the continental Europe needs these energy resources. And I am also sure that the route where these energy resources come from, be it Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan, and or beyond, they would also like to utilize these resources at its current value for the best price possible, given the time and the situation where the market is at. So this is not going to be a beautiful, unpaved. It will not be a paved road. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of bumps and a lot of obstacles along the way. But Turkey, all of the Central Asian republics, especially those Turkic republics, should be able to find a way where they maximize what the actual benefits would be. So I think it would be in the best interest of both sides, or all sides in this case, to find the most optimal way, whether or not the current world situation with all the conflicts going on in and through the region are going to help this or put it into a point of disadvantage for this trade to go on successfully. It will take time to see this. But as I said, this region is never going to be a beautifully paved road. It will always have obstacles. It will always have bumps. It will always have potholes. But I think with the understanding that it has to be a win-win for all sides is the actual matter, and that's what's going to drive this business to be or this trade to take place. On the other hand, if something happens where there's no winning side or one side is not winning the way it should, it's very simple. This will not go on. However, I think with the understanding that this entire region is an upcoming and a very energetic region with many resources to offer to the rest of the world, I think all sides should be able to find or actually make more effort to find ways for better trade rather than just sit down and just not utilize these resources.
Right. So Fidan's visit isn't only about energy. His discussions will also address trade, defense, and regional security. So how do you expect Turkey to leverage its strategic position to further strengthen its relations with France and Europe in the areas?
I think energy is especially in today's world, is a very, very important matter. It actually has been probably the center of a lot of the conflicts, if not wars, in the last 50 or 60 years, even more probably. Turkey, I think, has the understanding that to have the most out of this, it must solidify more and more her position and her involvement with the Central Asian, especially the Turkic republics. I think the more we come to an understanding where there must be an alliance for good in not just the trade, but also for the transportation, secure transportation of these energy resources, it will benefit all of the region. It will benefit Turkey, it will benefit Azerbaijan, it will benefit Kazakhstan and beyond. And this will actually bring a better life, a better sense of living for this entire region. Now, as I said, it has to be a balanced trade. We cannot just think, one-sided on this. But if we can assure that it is a trade where everybody wins, both the buyer and the seller and the through countries, including Turkey, are all happy. I think this will also serve as a big cornerstone for peace, because no one, and I think we saw glimpses of this between in the conflict between Russia and Ukraine, where Europe really got hit extremely badly on the lack or sometimes disrupted supply of energy. I think we see that if you become a good energy supplier, this will also help a lot in your security, because nobody now, if Europe knows this the best, I think, or Germany especially, knows this the best. Nobody would like to, see any kind of a conflict where there are energy resources.
Actually,
this may not
you already partially answered my next question about the situation around Russia and Ukraine. Turkey has managed to maintain a delicate balance in its relations with both countries. How do you think Fidan's visit to Paris will impact Turkey's diplomatic position in the Russia-Ukraine conflict, especially considering France's strong support for Ukraine in this war?
Honestly, since my school years, which I spent not just academically but also personally a lot of time in international diplomacy, and all my years observing what's going on around the world, I must say what Turkey was able to accomplish, to have a very balanced relation both with Russia and both with Ukraine throughout the war, has been, I think it's definitely a matter to be in the books, for the history to be told about in the next century or so. This was an unbelievable success on Turkey's side. As I said, I still am not too sure how they were able to accomplish it. This is my honest opinion. But some way or somehow, Turkey was able to do this and still continuing to be able to do this even at this hour. So I think if people are really worried about the safety of Ukraine, or the safekeeping of Russia or the entire region, which side they're on, it doesn't really matter whether this is France, Germany, or UK, or USA. I think, one, they must really take a lot of lessons from how Turkey's diplomacy has been laid throughout this time, but also make sure that Turkey is part of any deal that would have to go on with Russia and or Ukraine. Let's not forget, Turkey is still the only country that has sustained near perfect diplomatic relationship with both countries at the same time. And let's not forget, Turkey has shared her biggest and most advanced technological weapon with Ukraine, and I'm talking about the Turkish UAVs, Baykars, and the TUSAŞ ones. And so both models, both brands, they share. This is Turkey's most advanced, most technological warfare item, and still kept a very balanced relationship with Russia. So not only should they really study the Turkey's case, but I think they should always make sure that any kind of a deal that would have to go on with Russia and or Ukraine should involve some kind of Turkish involvement, as Turkey is the only successful, diplomatic chain, although it's indirect, between these two countries for the past almost 4 years now.
So, as part of Turkey's ongoing efforts to secure its southern border, Syria remains also a critical issue. How do you expect this visit to balance Turkey's security concerns in Syria with its broader diplomatic relations in Europe, particularly with France, during this visit?
Well, I don't see Syria to be a matter which will resolve it by itself, number one. or resolve overnight. I think the worst is over. I hope and I think the worst is over in Syria. However, this doesn't mean it's a golden paved road right now. I'm pretty sure there will be many challenges until the elections, and I'm sure there will be even more challenges after the elections. Let's not forget it's the remainings of a decades of a rule by a dictator and his son, where a lot of people were deprived of their freedom, their life most of the time, and a lot of people were actually exiled out of the country in millions. So this is not an easy. There's no easy solution there, and there's not an overnight solution there. I think right now things seem to be rather balanced, especially much more balanced than it was during the Assad times, both his fathers and his sons. But I think there are many challenges coming up there as well. Let's not forget, whatever is going on right now over there is with the absence of the Russian involvement. After the Ukraine-Russia thing is resolved, and I don't expect that to go on for too much longer, Russia is bound to put his eyes back to Syria. I don't think they will ever exit Syria fully. At least they will not willingly. But once Russia is back on the table in Syria, which I'm sure they will be after they resolve their Ukraine issue, I would like to, take a reservation to wait to see how that thing will resolve eventually. Because and I think there's some time there. However, so far things are so good, but I say that with a very, very big hesitation, unfortunately.
So, in terms of Turkey's EU aspirations, how significant is the diplomatic maneuvering taking place during this visit? Will it be a breakthrough moment in Turkey's relationship with the EU, especially considering the shifting geopolitics in the region?
Well, France is certainly a very important matter, a very important country in this region, with their ongoing, expansionist, policies for the last 100 years in the region, especially. So they do have some presence. They do have some historical presence. However, let's not forget France herself is politically in a very much of a turmoil right now. With Abi's elections, now it seems the banning of the #1 candidate from politics. I'm not exactly sure how maneuverable is France when it comes to international diplomacy, as they have massive, as they look like they will have massive internal issues. However, this is not to say to discount France out of the picture, especially when it's in the Middle East. And I think Minister Hakan Fidan has been just doing his due diligence when it comes to this region. However, I would not really count on France to be also involved in the region, at least for some time now, at least till they resolve their domestic issues, to a point where they're able to make a difference, one way or the other. It doesn't really matter. So right now, I guess with Russia being on hold about the region, with France not being able to really react too much in the region due to their own domestic problems, in the region, it looks like the only foreign involvement, expansionist involvement, we could look towards possibly more to U.S. and to a certain degree to United Kingdom, and then see what can be done with these two outside interventions. Of course, needless to say, Israel would be the same way, but I would just, when I mention USA, I need to mention Israel's involvement in any of these deals there.
Well, now it's time for Europe to think about its own security, especially since the time when Donald Trump came to power in the United States of America. It doesn't matter whether it comes to the situation around the crisis between Russia and Ukraine or something else. There is a forming of new approach. Therefore, how could Turkey's diplomatic efforts contribute to shaping Europe's evolving security framework?
Well, I mean, the NATO Secretary General has expressed this more than several times. And I think President Trump has also somewhat touched upon this, that Europe's security or NATO would only make sense with the involvement of Turkey and Turkish armed forces. However, Turkey is always very careful when it comes to being asked international intervention of her soldiers, with the exception of the sister countries, the Turkish republics. It will always think a lot of thought. It will always put a lot of thought into international involvement. Can Turkey be? Will Turkey accept a big role in securing Europe through NATO? Would be a question to be answered, as the time goes by. Is Turkey capable of doing this? Most certainly. There's no doubt about that. Nobody even would dispute that fact. However, as we've seen in the past, which goes back to Korean War, at least, if not more, would Turkey do this for the benefit of anything except her own and the regional security as well, is another question. Turkey has done this before. Turkey has participated militarily in conflicts for one reason or another. But Turkey has really, only in the last couple of decades, only stopped doing this really, with the exception of Turkish states in and around the region in Central Asia, including Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus. Those are definite exceptions. But besides those, I don't think Turkey will be willing to contribute to this militarily unless it is for the security of Turkey and security of the region as well. So Turkey will not have, I don't think, from this point, at any time in the future, will actually contribute to any kind of military effort for any other reason than her security or regional security.
And just to conclude our discussion for today, will this visit signal a new direction in Turkey's foreign policy, especially regarding its role in regional security?
There's no, it's no secret that Turkey had a very much long period of not a good relationship between Western Europe. This includes France, if not probably the biggest one. This includes Germany. This includes countries like smaller countries like Belgium, Austria. So could this be a new page, for Turkey's relationship with Western European countries, especially France and Germany? We shall see. I think this will be beneficial to both sides. But as we all know, especially the Western politics has not been dominated by reason for a long time. Unfortunately, some of their ideals may be contributed also by the fact of religious beliefs is totally a different matter. Hopefully, this wave in Europe will change for diplomatic reasoning, rather than ethnic background or religious background or old grudges. To be honest with you, we'll see. This all depends on how the Western European nations and their leaders will react to this. We'll see.
Well, indeed, we will definitely follow the developments of these meetings and the visit itself. But for now, thank you so much for joining our discussion.
Thank you.
And thank you, dear viewers, for being with us. Just to remind, today we had quite a fruitful discussion with our distinguished expert who joined from Turkey, Mr. Onur Erim, President of Dragoman Strategies. Do stay with A News and see you soon.